Is it better? Or do you want the blacker?
No, it's fine.
This or this? Choose one.
I don't ask her. No, this looks more real.
And Auntie, which one do you think is better for the background? This or this one?
I think this
just
one.
not?
The normal background is fine.
I think so. I think so too.
Okay. Yeah, I think so too.
Okay,
Actually,
we're live already. Too late.
yes.
Hello. Good evening. I'm super excited to have you here today. And you also who is watching us live from your home or your office or wherever you are at this time. Good afternoon, good evening. My name is Brenda Unu, and I am here to host your favorite program, Women's Matters. It's our 101 episode. One of the best episode, and we're excited to have you here. And in line with the conversation about, give to gain, the whole month of March dedicated to women. And so we're going to be talking about the whole theme of the month. And we thought about it that, okay, how can we give to gain? Our last week conversation was very eye-opening, and we realized that there's a lot we can give to gain, and how best than to get our older women to speak to the younger women and tell us what we should be looking out for. Because you know how they say that what an elder sees from sitting down, the young one, even if they climb a tree, cannot see. So that's what's going to be happening here today. We're going to, first of all, before we go into the conversation, I need you to welcome my guest. Drum roll, I have with me my big auntie, Mrs. Joan. Okay, if I tell you about this woman, you will just be shocked. I will let her tell you by her own self. Auntie, on this program, we don't need to read people's profile. You have to introduce your own self by yourself. So please go ahead.
Yes, I'm Joan, okay. I call myself a grandmompreneur. Whatever,
I love it.
Yes, background, worked in the bank for about 10 years. Later, I worked as a director in an NGO. And after that, for about another 10 years, actually. And then thereafter, I am still working as a director in a media consultancy firm. So that's it.
A very brief insight into her. And you will see why I said so in a bit when she starts to talk. You will say I said so. I warned you. But anyway, thank you so much, Ma, for joining us today. We're super excited to have you, especially on this special series of ours. I mean, I had to think when I thought about it that who do I call to come and talk to the young ones? I just realized, why are we looking far? They don't need to look very far. We have one right here. So thank you so much for making our time to be here. Thank you for just being here. So we will not waste too much of our time. We want to get right into it because I know the conversation today is going to be a huge one, like a very loud one. So, but you know how we do it on the show. You just talk. You're generally teaching us, right? So anyhow you want the conversation to go is how it's going to go. I'm just here to moderate. In fact, with my own pen and paper because I don't used to. When I hear the elders are teaching us, who am I? I'm ready. So please, ma'am, take it away. Where do you want to start this conversation from? Let us know.
Okay, so first of all, thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
I'll tell you something. We said we talked about sheltered from sheltered to empowered. So I started thinking that where did that sheltering come from? Napoleon said that the training of a child begins about 20 years before the child is born.
Wow.
So that means it starts with the mother. Okay. So this sheltering also, being sheltered also starts with our parenting, the parenting we had.
Yeah.
Now, I will give an example. So we now, well, let me just be a bit vulnerable. I'll just say it. So my mom, let me say, she came from a background where her father, they were in Lagos. She came to Lagos, during the Second World War, so, way back. So the father was the director of personnel in Ports Authority. but it was sort of polygamous setup, just briefly. So, I mean, she, according to her, she was, you know how it was then, doing all the work, doing everything, and then the boys were there being pampered and all that. So she made up her mind that her own children will never go through that, what she went through. Because she was saying that this is like living Cinderella and all that. I know they will not go through. I just had to give that background. Then now, I was born, let me say, 2 weeks after she lost her mother. She lost her mother quite early. So I was born just 2 weeks after, and an only girl and all that. So that type of, so it was like we're just four children, 3 boys and myself. So that was the program. So we're not mixing much, you know, just my dad was a high school, you know, in Ikoyi there, you know, just you go to your school, you come back, you do, you know, and all those relatives that were mean, no way, you know, we're not, so, you know, that type of thing. So it was like they were coming from maybe a good place, you know, trying to say, okay, no, you're going to have something better than I did. Do you understand? And you were being sheltered, but you know, eventually, as life begins to open and you now start going into the reality of life, you begin to see that no,
it's not working.
It's not what it can be. So that's why I said before we start, let me go back to where the sheltering comes from. And then you yourself will now reach, you know, because they say there are 3 people who train someone. Your parents will train you, God will train you, then you come and now train yourself. So by the time you start seeing what life is, nobody will tell you. You start thinking of, you know, you start picking up things. And then if you have had, well, I must say that I must always also add that we did have strong values. I did come from strong values and all. So that would also direct you in the sort of friends you pick up. So you start noticing some things, you visit, then you start imbibing good things too. And then you are gradually moving from sheltered to gradually empowering yourself. So that's just it in a nutshell.
I like something that you said, you know, when you said that 3 people train someone. I know, I've never thought about it like that. You see, you know, we always feel as if, okay, all the training that we got is by your parents. And especially when people see you and say, you are not well trained, then you know, it's almost like a direct insult to your parents. And I do know, because I've lived long enough to know that there's a lot of things that we do to retrain our own selves. Because when you come out into the world, of course, in your parents' home, I think there's an adage, I'm not sure which culture it comes from, that says that, you know, the person who says that their mother's home is the end of the world has not seen anything, you know, something like that. So many of us just think that, okay, our parents' house is the be all and end all of life. And when we go out, we realize that there's just a lot out there, you know, that we didn't know. You know, there's a lot that we're sheltered from. And you now start to, you know, when you are confronted with the real life, you have to, you know, train yourself, literally, you know, absolutely. So yes, we're talking to all the sheltered young ladies. So team, my children must not suffer what I suffer. If you're in that table, please just calm down peacefully, because it's not about that. You're about to maybe, perhaps your intentions are good. In fact, they are actually good.
They're always
good
because
intentions.
you say they did the best they knew how to. You know, so we can't fault them. But nowadays we see that the world is changing, everything is changing. So you have to change with it and you know, move with everything. You relearn, you unlearn, and keep on relearning, and you know, starting all over again. That's it.
Otherwise, you snooze, right? How they say.
Exactly.
So I want to say, you know, even nowadays I find, okay, now I'm raising children of my own, right? And I've been accused of sheltering them myself. And I think I can relate to those mothers who say, they will never suffer what I suffer. So I used to be like that. But of course, you know, with more knowledge now, I realize that it doesn't pay anybody. You know, it doesn't pay anybody to shelter children from natural experiences that are supposed to teach them. Because the way God has created life, you're supposed to experience certain things as you go. And as you experience them, you learn. As you learn, you get wiser, you get, you know, as you go older. Jesus grew in wisdom, age, and grace. Like, you just think your child should just be growing in age alone and nothing else. Like, hello, the sheltering doesn't help. So what my question now is that what would you say to that woman who had sheltered her child all her life? Okay, now let me even put it this way. So I saw an Instagram post today. It was supposed to be funny, but it was quite sad. The young man was making a joke and saying that his mom didn't want to follow him to his doctor's appointment. Mom was like, "You're old enough, you should go." This young man was like 21 or thereabouts, from just guessing from the video. And I was like, "You have to follow me." Mom was like, "No, I'm done. You have to go yourself." He was like, okay, no problem, I'll go. But tell me, what's my full name? The mom was like, "You know your
my
full name, come on." He now goes, "Okay, sorry, when was I born? What's my genotype?" All the questions that they ask in the hospital, he was not asking. So it was supposed to be hilarious, right? And then worse than that content was the content underneath. The comment underneath. People were like, "Oh, boys of moms can relate. Oh, my boy." I was like, "Hello, is this where we are now?" And then one woman now commented and said, "Sorry, this is not me. I can never be me. From age 16, I started taking my children to the doctor themselves, and I'll sit in the car and they will go and, have their appointment themselves. By 18, I was done with them, not even taking them by car anymore. They were now on their own. And by the grace of God, they're now 25 and 26, and I'm free." And she had a lot of comments under her own. So I was like, "Oh, I wish I had done that. I wish I had done that." So I see that, and this is an American family, it's not a Nigerian anything. Or, in Nigeria, we can say, we have houses with, but this was an American family. So I started to think about it, that how did we get here? And on that comment thread, there were a lot of people who were like, "Oh, my own child is already 20 something and I'm still stuck, like I'm stuck here forever." Is there any hope for somebody who has over sheltered their children and for them to start getting empowered? Or do they have to face the world and train themselves as the parents have lost it? What do you
No,
think?
no, there's always hope. Like they tell you that, okay, the best time was before, but the next best time is now.
It's now.
So it's never too late. Once you realize that I must have made a mistake, I've been overdoing this, and we start just gradually, step by step. One thing I noticed is that, you see, abroad, they don't really shelter their children the way we do ours. I know that our society is a bit there's a lot happening, which might also contribute to the reason why we sometimes shelter our children. But when you look at now, I was reading that even as Kate Middleton and queen as she is, she was working as a waitress somewhere along the line. Prince Harry served in the Navy and so on. So they right from an early age, they are exposed, they start working, they start doing things, and they start being quite independent. So, so I think whatever brought
These
in.
were Black Americans anyway, so maybe it's the
Yes,
same
no,
thing that's worrying us. That is
uh-huh.
worrying.
So,
I
well,
mean, this
whatever
video.
it is, let's start. Let's even start again. We should go back again and say, no, this can't work. I'm not going to be this person forever. So from now, we just gradually start loosening the apron strings, step
Absolutely.
by step, gradually. Like the one, maybe she's been going with him to the hospital. This time, I can't, but gently, she just has to. But you have to
Yeah.
start somewhere, explain. It's for you're growing up, you're this, you're that, and it's for your own good. Life is not smiling. And it's
No, it's
not
not.
it's not smiling at anyone. And if you're going to achieve anything, you need to stand. You need to stand firm. So by the time she explains the reasons and all that, well, maybe she can gradually reclaim something, yes, and help. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I recall one of my coaches who used to say that raise your children as if you are going to die tomorrow.
Yes.
I used to always say, that's a little bit too harsh, please.
Too much
Don't,
true.
but it was always such that it was like, raise your children as if you are not going to be there tomorrow. So can they stand? Can they be on their own and all of that? And I found it very, very, very profound, even though a little bit scary. But I started to think about, okay, so maybe it's not there. Maybe it's transfer. Maybe it's a relocation somewhere. Maybe you're going to school or going to work in another city and you have to leave
Or
them.
they are going for NYSC or
Or they
something.
are also going away
Or
from
going
you.
abroad.
So how are you training them to be able to stand on their own feet? It's a very valid question. Now, somebody in the comments is telling us that unfortunately, we don't completely have the safe environment for the level of independence. What do you think about that? And so this is where a lot of us hide. Oh, the country is not safe. Oh, the children cannot go. You know, the day I told my children that they were going to take bus to go somewhere, hey, do you want them to kidnap me? Oh, ha, ha. I said, there is no lion on the road. The people that are entering buses, they have not finished kidnapping them. What will make somebody kidnap you? Hey, who? I said, okay, fine. If you don't like bus, walk. But that place where you are going to go, you will be able to go. I was trying to show you bus, but you think they will kidnap you on the bus, no problem. Enter, use your leg and walk. She walked though and came back home. She did not die. But she thought, hey, hey, did you die? Nobody died. So sometimes we need to start with little. So, okay, go down the street and go and buy something. Some of us have 16-year-old, 18-year-old that cannot go down the street to buy something. It must always be driver carry you here and there. This is the sheltering we're talking about. So how do we start to release these things? Sometimes you look, and when you now see a child that is maybe younger than your child able to do these things, you start to think, look at you, at your age, you cannot do it. Somebody else is doing it. Meanwhile, you did not teach it. You did not teach it. You did not give that skill. So how do you now? So let's talk to that woman who feels like, okay, so I've missed it. Maybe my child is now, older. She should have learned this earlier, or he should have learned this earlier, but it seems like I've missed it. Where can I start to retrace my steps? So what practical tips do I have, to just help them to become able to navigate the world? Because truly, this shelter life is not, is not easy.
So I understand what the other person is saying about the country and so many things and all that. But may I say something? That's where prayer comes in. Nowhere is safe in this world. Even the US, UK, nowhere is safe. So that's where prayer comes in. So we cannot keep on saying because it's not safe, and then they will not, we have to. So we teach them also to pray and teach them to be observant. Do you understand? There are certain things we teach them in the house too. You have to have, a bit of street sense.
Street smart,
yes. Be a bit street smart. And you two don't look too, I don't know, don't stand out too much. Like there was an example.
When we say don't look kidnappable.
Exactly. That's you know what I mean. You can't be speaking there. You're talking in a different way from everybody. That sort of thing. So it's gradual. We won't be so hard on them because we started that way. But that does not mean we'll stop there. We'll learn. Gradually we ease them, just like your daughter. You told her, okay, choose. Then even this thing about boss, what sometimes I suggest is that, look, maybe for the first time, for the experience, let them go with an adult. Or somebody, just go, with someone that knows the, and knows the rope and all that. Maybe once or twice. Then maybe the third time they can go themselves just for the experience,
Yeah, because you have to even be able to know. So how a friend of mine, her son is, I think 19 now, or he's about to be 19, he's 18 now. So he normally goes about in Uber. He recently learned driving. So once the car is free, he can drive. But this particular day, he had gone somewhere in Uber and he was going to come back home. And he checked the Uber and they were telling him maybe 4,000 for something that is like maybe one roundabout away from me. He said, Mommy, I thought about it. That's too much. He looked in his pocket. He had 200 naira like that. And he just entered bus, hopped on the bus and came. And I was like, I was very proud of myself. And I thought, that's amazing because sometimes, they have to just learn it so that when it's not the day they are stranded, and they will not start to look around, what can I do? That's when you start looking kidnappable. Do you see? But if you're able to, start it when there's no pressure, try it. Go to market with me. Let's go together. Two of us enter bus together, enter bus back home. So at least wherever you are, your bus stop. If you have to find your way back home, you know the name of the bus stop, just to know. I'm not saying you enter bus every day, but just to even know. You never know when you are stranded, when you are, just to know where you go. What's your address? Do you know your address? My children learn my phone number from as early as when they can speak.
Yes.
They cram it so that you can't be stranded and they will ask you who's your mother. You cannot even discover. You call that number out. But guess what happened to me one day? And I told them my number. I didn't teach them their father's own. Well, this particular day, my daughter was stranded in school. And I had gone to the market. My phone had died. I don't know how I forgot to make arrangements for her to be picked. I didn't think I was going to be there late. Somehow, my phone died. That's how they were calling me. Oh. They couldn't get me. Child was in school. 5, 6. When I finally entered the car, and, found a way to charge my phone a little, and then they just called us and I said, Mommy, I'm in school, I wanted to faint. I said, why didn't you call your father? Is
I
my
don't
number, they know. And I realized that was even a problem in itself. Hello, please, can you put my father's phone now? Or I've been learning because if you can't reach me, reach your father. That's why God gave you 2 parents. And by the grace of God, we are still alive. Please call your father. Don't be stranded like that next time. You see? And so these are the things that you equip children with just to help them to navigate their way around the world.
Yes, exactly.
So
And
let's talk about the young woman who has been sheltered all her life and then just gets married and is thrown into a whole new family. You see, a whole family with in-law drama, this one, that one, that one. And she's thinking, where do I even start from? In my father's house, I was a princess. Like they were worshiping the ground I stood on. Who are these people and where did they come from? Like, why am I required to do all of this to other? Like, what's going on here? What
yeah.
should happen?
I think I don't know I don't know how prepared people are before marriage, but although see, there's no amount of preparation that you can't compare with the reality. I'm sorry
I
to
tell
say.
you.
So, but one thing is I think if you have made up your mind that this thing I'm here for good, it has to work. You're determined to make it work. So I mean, that's what education is about. Sure, you start thinking,
Yes.
you think,
Yeah.
yes, you reach out, and that's why you can't do life alone. You need a community,
Absolutely.
that's it. So you reach out to, and that's where mentorship also comes in. And that's why sometimes you have sponsors for your wedding and all those things. So you reach out to someone you can, and then get guidance, because sometimes it may not be your parents because they're biased.
Oh, yes.
They're biased.
They are
They might
100% biased.
so, but just look for somewhere in the community, somebody you can talk to, and then gradually they can guide you right, and help you through this. And nowadays there's a lot of, well, I won't say sometimes there's good, sometimes there's bad. I would have said something, I mean, there are books you can read.
Yeah.
People are writing their experiences and all that. So you can pick up some things from that. But more, reach out to adults. I mean, other people who have marriage counselors and all that, who have done it before. And then let's see how they guide you. Of course, not, at the end of the day, no 2 people are the same, no 2 marriages are the same, no 2 experiences are the same. So you will now have to, that's where you now also train yourself. After people have told you what to do, you now go back. You know your own husband, you know the situation, you know everything, and you start learning gradually. You start learning to respect your husband also. Somebody that maybe when you were cutting, you were calling each other anyhow, doing anyhow.
Auntie,
Hey,
hey, this was my
hey,
reality.
somebody that
We
from
were
where
we were
anyhow.
besties of pushing each other and knocking your head and laughing. Next thing, you enter my like, is it me you're talking to? Don't you realize my husband? Like, husband. I'm like, what happened
So,
here?
so you start growing though, as they are growing, you start growing, So that's just it. So it depends. So that's what I'm trying to say that, see, there is something that matters most, your ability to adapt, your willingness to learn and relearn, your willingness to grow. And also, also prayer. Sometimes things
Yeah.
will drop into your spirit in prayer. And then, this, and also if you pray a lot, no, I have to respect these people. I have to do this. I have to do that. No, this thing I did is wrong. Go back and apologize. There's some things. And then
Yeah.
if you also had some values, you were trained in value and some virtues and all that, you will now know that, look, now, with that background, somehow you can't get it wrong. It will take
Yes.
time. You go, you come back, you forgive, you cry, you get angry, you pack your bags, you don't go anywhere. But
I You will find a way, Sha.
Oh,
You will work it out.
now. We work it out. Oh, you work it out. We are talking 42, going to 43 years now. So,
Wow.
I mean,
Wow.
we'll be on it now. I started quite young, but
Yeah.
we grew up in it. We grew together.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, and we are surviving.
There's no even option.
So that's it now.
I like something that you said when you said that, when you come into the marriage, you have to tell yourself that I'm going to make this thing work.
Yes.
And this is barring where there's any abuse. We're not talking of
course,
life-threatening
of course. No.
situations. We're not talking of those ones. If you're in a life-threatening situation, please, leave to live. How
Get
do they say
help.
it? Leave, LEAVE to live, LIVE.
LIVE. Exactly.
When you are outside, you can be finding solution to each other. Just save your life first. Now, barring those abusive situations, I think that a lot of us need to develop more tolerance. I think that we've watched too many movies and we now feel like, I can't take that rubbish. I can't take that nonsense. If I just, this is a great, what's the word? This is there's a word we normally use for these things. Is it something for me? It's not triggered. What is not triggered? I can't remember what it was. I'll find it. It will come to me. It's almost like I can't take this. This is the thing, deal breaker. That's what I was looking for. This is a deal breaker for me. I'm sorry, I can't do this. And so I understand, having these deal breakers around things like infidelity, around things like, polygamy and all of those things. I can understand that. That is really valid and, of course. But for things like, when you hear people calling about things like where he put his shoe, because he's not cooking, because he did not, it's almost as if, auntie, take it easy now. Do you understand? We have to build tolerance. When I always tell people that, you come into the world, you were raised differently from this person. Imagine yourself that even in your father's house, among your siblings, people used to quarrel. Raised by the same father and mother with the same values, you can still find a way to quarrel. How much more someone that was raised completely differently from you, where the things that you think are normal may seem very strange to them, and they look at you like, what are you even talking about? Imagine when I got married to my husband, he said to me that, oh, on Christmas Day, we eat ukodo, yam and pepper soup as breakfast. I was like, excuse me? Me, I'd gone to make full English breakfast with all the sausages and the complete spread. Like, it's like, what's going on here? He even said, we used to fry chin chin the night before. We'll be smelling the chin chin. I said, oh, with you, please, sir. It's not happening here. But of course, I didn't do the chin chin because I just couldn't, right? But I made a compromise with the ukodo. I thought about, in fact, for the first few years, I would make my English breakfast and make the ukodo, and let the children choose, and all of us would eat a little bit of everything. It's Christmas, so we'll have everything, and he would not tell me you are wasting your energy. We don't need all of these things. Just give us the ukodo. So one year I really didn't have energy, and I said, see, this life is not too hard. Let me just make the ukodo. Do you know the way the children rushed the thing? I said, so who have I been making this spread for?
Breakfast for?
Oh dear God. Sometimes we just give ourselves unnecessary. So since that day, is ukodo. In fact, the children are looking forward to it. Like, where is the goat? How far? Mommy, can I have more? As in, because it's like the day that they have unfettered access to the pot, they can eat that pepper soup like 3 times, 3 rounds. Nobody will stop them. So how dare you now come and used to give me bread and what? Bread and what? What did you call it? So no. That time I'm making waffles, pancakes, sausage.
So that's it. We have to have an open mind. We have to have an open mind and give each other grace. Give each other grace. Okay, let's try. Try and see. And do you know that what I have found is that when you give grace, the other person will also now reciprocate, and that is the way it is. Absolutely. Like what they say, you treat him like a king, he now treats you like a queen. And that's it.
That one, I've experienced that one real life.
Yes, no, it's true. Because the way it is now, hey, that even before everything, you've been independent, been earning, you've been doing your thing. Then suddenly you can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do this, but you've come into this, you've come into it's not a transaction. This one is a covenant relationship. So it's not, it's, it's a spiritual bond. It's not, you're not here to play. And you're not here to say if it works, it depends if it's a Christian marriage anyway. If it works, I'm going. If it doesn't, no. Because you believe that God is the third person there. And he is he's the one giving the grace. Of course, as human beings on our own, we can't do a lot of these things, but with the
Yeah,
grace of God, you can.
absolutely.
So when
Absolutely.
you go back, remembering that it's a covenant relationship, and remember, it's not even just about us. We are talking about children coming. We are talking about generations. We're talking about what they are seeing, what we are passing on to them, for them to pass on to their own
To their
children.
own children. Because tomorrow
So,
now they will say it in their own family house. That's not how they did it in my father's house.
I
Who
think
created
to
this
get
father's house?
cost you anymore.
Mm.
It's not. It's
Yeah.
about the family. It's about the people coming. Why, even if coming into another setup where things are done like this and that, why can't you be the light there? In a very, you're not going to start saying you can't do this, you can't. No, but please, from your from your example and
Yeah.
everything, touching lives. People are seeing things and they are learning. And before you know it, you have impacted so many people. So I think really what I'd say is that we have to be less self-centered, or maybe I won't say narcissistic or egocentric or whatever it is. Just come out so that you can touch more lives and impact more. So that's what I think.
I love it. I love it. I mean, I love the fact that we've even gotten into marriage from this conversation. Because, a lot of the women that are watching us are young ladies, either married or newly married or about to be married. And maybe a few of us, like me, have been a little bit married for quite a bit more time. But,
Yes.
no matter where you are at, all of us can relate to this conversation. And that's why we have them. If you're thinking about getting into a marriage, it's a good time to hear it because you can be prepared. I don't think we talk about these things well enough. I think that a lot of people just think that when you get married, you figure it out. My father used to say that marriage is a lucky dip, that anything you see inside, you take. Ha!
Exactly, I agree. It's like it's like a gift. They wrap a gift and give it to you. So
Yes.
when you open it, whatever you see, you start working with it.
You start working with it. So
Start
and
working with it.
I remember when my husband and I were best of friends in school, best of friends, like we're paddies, we paddies. He used to tell me everything. I used to tell him everything. We're not married though, and see, hey, see wahala. This man did a 360 on me. I'm like, who is this person? I don't know you. How did we get here? So it was so hard in that first year. In fact, at a point he said to me that they told me that you were going to disrespect me. I said, they told me that you'd be wicked to me. And I said, who told you? I said, the person that told you. I was so bad-mouthed. Like, if you tell me one, I'm gonna tell you five. It doesn't even matter. I was the comeback queen. I used to pride myself on being, but who wants that? Who wants that? Who wants a wife that will answer you five when you talk one? It was not sustainable. So the man would just carry his kids and just go out. One day I dragged him. I said, where are you always going to? You have one girlfriend you're going to meet, and you will not leave this house today. Like, hello, man. What is this?
When did I become like this? How did I get here?
Who am I? I could not recognize myself anymore. I'm like, what is going on here? And I realized that, there was just a lot of rubbish happening in my life. I had to go to God and say, see,
Enough.
I'm sure this is not your plan for marriage. And if it is, I don't think I'm supposed to be a party to this because I can't live like that. So if you know that you want me to stay married, how about you start telling me what to do? Because I can't. I've exhausted my own wisdom. I don't know what else to do. This guy is, I was really, really stressed out. And then there was something he said to me one day. He said, in fact, you're just lucky that I'm Catholic, so I can't divorce you. So as it is, you are my cross for life. I say, me, Jesus. That was in my head. Arrange. I was like, hey, cross, Brenda.
No.
But cross. I said, no, this is a lot. I said, okay, Lord, you have to help me. And even when I was even praying the prayer, you can even hear me saying it now. It was very arrogant prayer. It wasn't as if I was going to like, oh, have mercy on me. I was like, see, it was more like, see, fix your son, right? I'm not doing this. But it was very funny. The answer I got was very funny. God said to me to change. I need to change me. I was like, who, me? I'm not the problem. He's the problem, as you can see. I'm all right. I'm the one doing everything in this house. I'm cooking. I'm taking care of the kids. I'm doing everything I'm supposed to be doing. He's the one that you need to fix. God said, when you're ready to listen, you come back. Because obviously my head was up there.
Back.
By the time I realized that he was not answering me again, God was not answering me again, I came back humbly. I said, okay, sorry, sir. What about me am I supposed to change? Perhaps you can give me a little bit more light. So it was just simply, just start by keeping quiet. I said, keep quiet. It will be hard though. He said, just try. Count to maybe 5 before you respond. And I was like,
Very
And
important.
the Holy Spirit is so kind. You know what he did? He brought my younger sister to stay with us. She came for youth service to stay for a few months or I don't remember how many weeks. And in that time, I thought about it that if this my younger sister should be here and she'll
That's
see
the
me,
end. She'll
this
go and
man.
report.
No, it will even be bad because you know how last ones can be. If she sees me abusing the man, maybe tomorrow she too she will abuse the man and the thing will not pain me. I said, no, I have to be on my best behavior when we have, we had audience. So if we are together in the living room and he says something that I wanted to respond to, I would just hold my mouth. There's somebody here. When we enter the room, I will give you back. Because I'm a comeback queen. I had answers. Of course, by the time we get back to the room, the moment has passed. I would have forgotten.
And you'll be that
And that
angry.
was how slowly by slowly I learned to curb my tongue. And one day just woke up and said, I like this new person that you are. Whatever it is that you are doing, please keep it up. And I was like, okay. It was really funny how we got there. And truly, it was the Holy Spirit who gave me the help because only me, I don't know how I would have stopped talking because my mouth was sharp. Oh Lord, it was sharp. The man suffered. I can't even say he suffered in my hand, So that one is not even sheltered matter. That was just, I did not know better. I didn't have sense, and I thought that. And I think it wasn't a little bit of trauma too. You know how you would see some auntie's marriage and some other person in the neighborhood
This
that
will
you
never
hear
happen to me.
and you say it will never happen to
Never.
me. Nobody can take
Never.
me for a ride. So you come, you come with, faults. Nobody's
But that's
fighting
the problem, yes.
Nobody's fighting you, and you just come and fight. So before he says one, I'm saying, no, you can never take advantage of me. Like, yeah. So it was
It's
trauma
It's a
from
big
nowhere.
problem. A lot of people going with that. Me. Hey, nobody's going to tell me this. Nobody's going to tell me that. And you've not even you've not even interacted with your mother-in-law. You've already made up your mind.
No mother-in-law
You've not
would
even
do anything.
interacted with your in-laws, not giving them a chance. So you've already made up your mind that hey, nobody. You are the one coming in as the aggressor.
Setting up
Really.
for a fight, yes.
Not even giving people a chance to
It's bad though. So maybe we need to have the conversations about, coming in with open minds. Come into marriage with an open mind. Like my father would say, it's a lucky dip. You don't know what you're going to find. But I would say that it is the way in which you approach what you find that will make it work for you.
Yes.
So when you meet people, I used to say to people, my husband and his mom are very close. I heard that they were 5 and 6, and I said, that's a small matter. We all love each other together. You love him, I love him. Then let's love ourselves. Love is one thing that they said there's no law against in the Bible. There's no law against love. So it's love, you love your son, no problem. I love him too. How about we all love each other together? That was the mind I went in with, And even though in the beginning it was almost as if everybody wanted to choose territory, when she realized that I'm not dragging you, I'm here to love him with you. Do you see? In fact, if you love him small, love me the remaining. I'm even happy to have some more love as I did like this. I'm open to it. And today I'm enjoying my mother-in-law fabulously. In fact, before I jumped on this call, I was on a call with her for over how many minutes? When she's bored, she just calls me. I will talk and talk and talk about any and everything. So if I was fighting her, where will I come from? When she was somebody that used to go to the market for me, go to market for me and say, Brenda, I don't like this one. You're buying things in the neighborhood. You're wasting money. I'll go to my 12 for you. I'll go to Ingbo for you. She'll buy everything. Now say, send the drivers come and pick it. I'll go and pick. You know, when she was traveling abroad, she was crying that who is going to help Brenda to go to market? Oh God, oh, who will help her? I say, Mommy, you go, don't worry, I'll be
I'll
okay.
survive.
Hey,
Don't worry,
God.
I'll find a way.
And that was, I would have been fighting. Hey, who are you to enter my kitchen? Don't enter
There's
my
no
kitchen.
need.
This kitchen is my own. Why?
There's no need. She will always be his mother. You will be the wife. She can never be his wife. Just
And
like
I
you
can
can
never
never
be
be
smart.
his mother. So the love is different. So what are we quarreling? What
See,
you know? There's nothing now. Ah,
as my coach would say, anybody who is having in-law issues, you are not wise.
yes.
And we know that some in-laws are bad. We know. It's not
Yes.
even, we're not even going to be oblivious to the fact that
So
people
there's
are
no
bad.
need. Yes, of
But
course.
there is, you know, you can create boundaries and you can
Yes.
love people. And when you love them, they get to a point, even if they feel foolish if they are being wicked to you.
Yes, true.
Because the whole world will be seeing them and they'll be like, you will save. Are you not seeing that this guy is good? Why are you people like this?
It's
Do you
true.
see? And then today will change because love is the greatest. I mean, how do they say it?
They say where there's no love, you put love and you find love. It's in the Bible.
Somebody said that her own Holy Spirit had tell her to speak up. Me that they were telling me to keep quiet. You see, this Holy Spirit. You see why you don't take people's marital advice, hook, line, and sinker. That's something I wanted to say. When you hear things about marriages, you have to remember that the Holy Spirit is available for each and every one of us to
Yes,
give you
yes.
tailor-made solutions for yourself. He knows you, he knows your husband, and he will give you tailor-made solution. If you go and carry, Brenda said that they said that she should not be talking again. You now go and not be talking. Meanwhile, they are oppressing your house. You just there. Nobody sent you. Me, I was one oppressing my husband. That's why I had to keep quiet. That's why I had to be told to shut up. My own was too much. You know, and the minute I started to free the man, immediately, even when he told me, say, I like this new person that you're becoming. He does started to even reciprocate. I started to show him how I wanted to be treated. I showed him how I wanted to, even by treating his family, even by treating him, he started to reciprocate. And before you know it,
Natural, yes.
I don't even recognize the man anymore. I'm like, oh,
It's just natural.
I love it.
It's natural.
So let's go back to this our sheltered ladies.
Yes.
So, we talked about the fact that sometimes, and this I just remember because of this lady who said the wish we told her to speak up. I'm thinking again about these ladies who, you come from this sheltered home where everything was done for you, right?
Yes.
You're your father's girl, you were the daddy's girl, like the sun literally rose and set on your head, like fly could not touch you.
And then even if you are the bright type, hey, heaven help you, you are the brilliant one. Hey,
You
then
were not the
everybody
trophy
does
child
trophy child, that's it.
in your house. So they now carried you and now married you to, or even at the workplace. You now get to the workplace and you now meet one caustic boss or somebody that before you talk, they're shutting you up. You are confused, like, why? What's going on here? Don't these people know who I am? The star girl?
For where?
Like,
No.
are they not
Who
aware? Were they not
cares?
informed?
Who
Why are you
cares?
budgeting me like this?
Nobody
How
cares.
do you move from shelter to empowered in situations like that? Find yourself in the workplace. I mean, you said we were in the bank for many years, even as a director and all of that in other companies. How do you think that women should speak up, especially in places where maybe they are male dominated or you are not given a chance? And because you think that your work is big for you, you don't want to talk too much. What do you think that women should do in places like that?
Number one, of course, just as you said, you work well, you have to do a very good job, number one. Then number two, speaking up does not mean making trouble or shouting. You are in the meeting or you have an appraisal meeting or something or whatever it is, and any suggestions or whatever, and you just say what you have to say very quietly, gently, but firmly, loud enough for people to hear. I have a friend, she's also very soft-spoken and all that. So she was just telling me that when she's hiring her, you know how sometimes when you try to be pleasant to your workers and all that, they try to take advantage of.
Take advantage, yeah.
So she will tell them that, look, let me just tell you something. This same gentle way in which I'm speaking to you is the same voice I'll use to ask you to go. And there is no begging. Do you understand? So you're not going to come and So that's when they'll say all these ones that they'll be smiling, they are wicked. They're not wicked, they're just principled. You need to be principled. So, that is what will guide you through life. You don't have to be another person. You can be yourself, cultured, refined, soft-spoken, whatever, but be principled. You know what you can take, you know what you cannot take. So in the workspace, you speak up for gently, it's not by fighting, but you just say, I noticed that. And every single thing, you make sure you keep your emails. Things are done formally. Don't let anyone, you have an email of everything, done, well documented. Yes,
Yeah.
make sure. So nobody will, take your work, say, I don't know, whatever. What happens in work politics. Have everything well documented and then know how to speak. Refinement, but you make your point. Do you understand? So that's where people know that this one, she seems not to talk or whatever, but she knows what she wants. She knows her rights. And then you gradually gain respect. You gradually gain respect that way. But above all, you do your work right. You keep on improving. So nobody can fault your work. But at the
Right.
same time, you speak, you have to speak up, but it doesn't even have to be in an offensive manner or aggressive manner. You can always
You have
find
to.
it. Yes.
We always have to find a way. And to be honest, I think that maybe part of what happens is when they tell children that, oh, children are seen and not heard, or oh, girls should not talk, don't talk too much. Hey, if you are the one talking, what will your husband be doing? Women are supposed to be, hey, God, I beg. There are some cultures where they say it's only the men that are talking. A woman wants to, a woman is a child is being given out to married, and they say that the woman is not supposed to be there. She doesn't have business. There is a men's affair. What are you saying? So maybe all of those years of oppression and regression are making people think like, oh, I shouldn't speak. But when you get to the workplace, you're a professional. You are hired for what you know.
Yes.
Right. And these days, visibility in the workplace is very important. So why we don't encourage you to shout or make too much noise? We want your work to speak for you, but you also need to speak up where it is important. So yes, when there are meetings, when it's your own work, it's your time to present on your stage and present properly. Let them look and say,
Yes.
I didn't know that
Very
person had,
important.
I didn't know that person had it in them. All of these are very important, and no matter how sheltered or how your life has been, you will have to learn it. As we say, you reparent yourself, you train yourself. As you go into life, you pick up the skills that you need to pick up. It's a
That is
continuous
what,
learning
yes, that's
process.
what you can learn it.
You can learn.
You can even be in your house and practice the presentation before you get to your work. Do you understand? Jot down your points before you go out so that you're not taking unawares or something, and just anticipate certain things before you go. And then just keep on. There's nothing wrong with practicing before you go, and making sure you're well prepared. And then you can speak with confidence and make your point. But you have to speak out. So the world is changing. Gone are those days. So you have to
They say it's
speak
your
out.
work that will speak for you. You will speak.
You have to speak
You
for
will
you. You
speak,
have to
or the
talk.
person that is speaking will collect the promotion, and you that is doing the work will be there. You will speak. You will
That's
find
why I
it
say you document everything and fight for yourself gently but firmly. And you
firmly.
follow things through to the end. So you
Yeah,
are fighting for yourself, but it doesn't have to be in an aggressive manner, but it's
absolutely.
natural in a way that is natural to you.
Yeah, I was going to say that, to be true to yourself. When you sometimes in the office, you see people who you say, oh, this person's extroverted or very bubbly personality, and you think that they give the person all of the opportunities, and you think that you have to be like that to get the opportunities. That's not correct. The people that hired you knew who you were and they knew your strengths. They knew what they hired you for. So you play to your strengths and don't worry about, what
Exactly.
people may perceive to be your weakness. There's a way that you play to your strengths so strongly that
Yes,
even your weaknesses will start to fade. They will no
exactly.
longer be obvious. I mean, I was talking to one of my kids the other day, and he was saying, no, it was even not even my kid. There was a lady who was telling me about her son, and I think I had to take the same thing for mine. She said that her son, they were teasing him in school and said that he didn't know how to play football and all of that. And he was feeling so bad about it. And she said, do they know how to draw?
Oh,
Have they seen your drawing? Everybody in the class, can anyone draw like you? He now said, it's true, mommy. Say, say in this life, you will own that your one talent
yes,
and hone it so well and shine it so brightly that the person with 5 self will be like, I wish I had this skills, this thing. You know,
exactly.
That's what you need to do in places where you think, oh, because I'm quiet or I'm introverted, I cannot be noticed. The one thing that you are strong at, use it so well,
Yes.
apply it so strongly that you are unmistakable, that people cannot overlook you. That's really how it is, So yeah.
Absolutely.
Someone said that in the office, they told her that God sees the effort, but in the workplace, it's the results that matter.
Yes,
Honestly,
so
Marianne, this was told to me by my boss, one of my managers. He told me, you're always reporting effort. I don't want to hear about the effort. What has been done? That day, my head was like, Jesus. I was like, but I'm trying to give you what we've done so far. I don't want to know what you've done. It's the results I want to know.
that was the language in the bank. What are you talking? Results. We don't,
Want to hear.
I don't want to know how or where or whatever. We just want to see the figures.
He said this my story was too. He said this my story was too long ago. I almost fainted. I said, Jesus.
Just
He
bring
said
the
that God
results.
is one that sees the effort. His results we want. Aye, aye, aye.
The results.
Employers are not smiling, no. It's the bottom line, baby. It's all
Bottom
about the
line,
results.
exactly.
All about
It's
the
all about the
results.
bottom line.
So you dear sheltered girl, we can't help you. You bring out the results by fire, by force, and you empower yourself. Because to be honest, I mean, today it's been a very interesting conversation. We talked about, where this whole empowerment started and entitlement and what was the word? Shelteredness
Shelter.
started from. Where, for mothers who said, oh, my child will never go through what I went through. We also talked about how, while it was good, it was from a good place, how it has, really limited the children. We now started talking about what to do if you already feel as if, oh, you've limited your child so far because you were over sheltering and what you can do to correct it. You know how mommy said that the best time to plant a tree was yesterday and the next best time is now. So in the same way, you can correct your children or whoever now. We also talked about how, okay, if you come sheltered from your father's house and you get into a marriage, we talked about the in-laws and all of the things that the basbos you receive from marriage and how you need to, just learn to be patient and accommodating and really just walk through your marriage. Then we talked again about the workplace, so you're married, you're sheltered, and then you go into the workplace and you think that, why is everybody not understanding me or seeing my efforts? We need to understand how to navigate your way in the workplace, even though you were born sheltered or all of that. But the real most important crux of this conversation for me today was what mommy said at the beginning when she said, there are 3 ways to train yourself. One is your parents will train you. The other one is God that trains you. And the third one is that you train yourself. Now, as Christians who have access to the Holy Spirit, God is in the business of training you. He's still in the business of training you. The Holy Spirit is constantly ready to prune you. When you hear feedback and you listen to live sites and listen to conversations like this, and some word hits you in your spirit, you read the Bible and some words hit you, it is God training you, is pruning you, telling you that thing you're doing is not okay. Do you see? And it's only who listens that will be pruned and we get better. So when God is training you and helping you and bringing information your way, is to shape your life literally to get better. And the last one is for you to train yourself because you have to, and this comes from feedback. When people tell you that, hey, this thing you're doing, you're a fantastic person, but this is not okay. It's not the time to be arguing. No, or it's not, people just don't understand me. Hello, man. Listen, when people say the same, when one person, 2 people, 3 people say the same thing, it's time to check yourself. They all cannot be misunderstanding you. There's something there that you need to work on. And so it's okay to admit your weaknesses. It's okay to admit that, oh, there's something I need to work on here and ask for help. If there's a coach you need to go and get it. If it's to go and learn it on YouTube, go and learn it. If it's to ask your friends and family, go and do it. Mommy, you wanted to say something. Please go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that that's one problem with being over-sheltered, trophy child and all that. It's difficult to take feedback. I don't want to take it. You know what I mean? Because you've always done it well. They're usually perfectionists. Because you were so well behaved, you never got into trouble at home. They're the one that did everything they told you to do.
Nobody was ever warning you or telling you off.
No, nobody even had to be. No, before they tell you anything, you've done it because you're a perfectionist. You don't want trouble. You don't want to. But real life is not like that. You will make mistakes. You will fail sometimes. Yes, you got first class and all that. I understand. But sometimes now you're in a bigger place, so you will fail something, you make some mistakes. It doesn't matter. That is now when you're strengthening yourself. you're building strength, you're building resilience. You're growing, you're being stretched. You see? So, because if you do not go through that, you cannot even build character. When
Yes.
everything is, you are so good, you are being patted on the back all your life. It's not possible.
That means you're not getting better.
It's not exactly. So don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. I mean, I remember I have one boss who used to say, "Look, I made a mistake. So what? Yes, I made them. And own it early. You've made look, I'm sorry this happened, and and then you go and find a way to correct it. Simple.
Yeah.
So that's where you grow and you build yourself up. And that is how you even begin to empower yourself. If you have not fallen or failed or made mistakes, you will not grow stronger.
That is very, very profound. I mean, that is very, very profound. And it's something that we really need to take into consideration, that a lot of people, these sheltered children, these trophy children, these ones that, have always been the apple of everybody's eyes. They're the honors roll children. They're the ones that are good at sport, good at everything else, and are always, perfectly out of trouble. And then the minute they feel one little bit of disappointment, it's like the world wants to crash. And so we're saying to you that today that, listen, those things are God helping you to build your character.
So that you'll be emotionally fragile.
Yes, those little loops. And I think the earlier it happens to you, the better. For
Okay.
children who can fail early is better. If you see, because I had a friend who, the child was on first all the way. She going to university, and for the first time she failed. This girl crashed mentally. The mother had to pack her load from Nigeria and go and sit down with her in the UK, because the girl was about to just die. Like, me fail how?
Exactly.
You see? So sometimes it's even easier for them to fail early. Fail early when
I'll get over it.
Let's clear your eye.
Get to bounce back in time and move
clear your
on.
eye and tell you that these are life is. Everybody fails. We just continue. But sometimes when you have parents who tell you that I was first in my class, I was always the first. If you were the first, all of us were first. Who was second? Did we all go to one school, different schools? The Holy Spirit one time told me to share one of my failure experiences with my daughter. It was so tough. I was ruminating on it for many days. I said, hey, this won't go hard. What if she says this? What if he goes this way? I thought. Next thing, somebody called me that she had a dream. I say, hey, Holy Spirit, I've heard. I'm going to tell her. That day I called her. I said, please come. I said, I want to talk to you about. And when I told her about it, she was surprisingly very empathetic.
Yes,
she was like, I'm really sorry that you went through that. And it was so, all the scenarios that I had imagined, none of them, I wasn't prepared for the compassion with which she met me with that story, and how she immediately started to feel like, oh, so this my mom is a human being, because maybe she placed me at one perfectionist level like that. So she gets, and immediately it really healed a lot between the two of us. And I didn't even know why this wanted to share that, because it was something that I don't tell anybody about. Nobody. Like, it's like a part of my life I had closed out, So sometimes we need to also share this, our struggles, this our failures, so that the children know that we're not infallible, and even when they struggle, they're not weak.
It's normal. Yes,
it's just a part of life.
It's part of life. Yes, it's part of life.
It's just a part of life. As I remember that story now, maybe I have to go and tell the second one now, the second daughter.
Now, because it will be as if you are telling.
Her own is in a different format, because not this one. I beg, I'll go and look for another.
There's something you need to know. Yes. That they said if you have 4 children, you are like 4 different mothers to each one of them. Because you cannot love each child the same way. And each child has a different, maybe love language or need. So you love according to the need of each one. So maybe that first one, there was a need she had at that particular time, and there's a way the story was necessary for her.
Yes.
Then the other one, you may relate it in another way, because it depends on what her own need is. Yes, so that's just the way it is. So you're not, no matter how you try, because there's a way, the way each of them sees you is different.
Yes.
So that's
absolutely. Absolutely. Fun fact, I said I was going to tell you people this thing. Fun fact, can you people guess how many children mommy has? She was giving an example with 4 children just now. Who is hearing her would think it's 4 children she has. Please, if you're not a child on this group, don't answer. The children that are on this live, don't answer. Please, those of you that are not her children, can you just guess how many children this my auntie has? Just guess, just by looking at her. She has told me that she's been married for about 42, 43 years, Abby. Going to help me to guess. Let me see. Whoever can get direct answer, you will collect something from me. The recharge card, something I'll send to you today because this guess. Somebody says 6. Okay, keep guessing. Yes, people are doing well. Keep guessing, keep guessing. Let me see. Anybody that can get it right will get something from me today. This is my mommy. When I find reality, you will shout. That's the only clue I will give you. And when I finally tell you what it is, you will have to shout. Okay. Somebody said 8. Okay, the number is coming up. Okay. People are doing well. Continue guessing. Someone says 7. Okay, I love it. Keep going, keep going. Keep going. Someone says 9. Someone says 3. Someone says 6. Now, wow. 9. People are doing well. Okay. The clue is that she's Catholic, right? So you know we Catholics we need to born plenty children. So keep going. And 9 is getting the most numbers. 9, 9, 9. People are trying. Okay. There's somebody here that got it, but the person seems to have expo. So I'm not going to acknowledge that person. My auntie has 12 children. I kid you not. 12. Look at how beautiful she is. Can you even imagine it? 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. No twins inside. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. So please, when we hear that we're talking to people with depth of wisdom, it's not ordinary. You know, there are some things that you learn when you have. What really struck me when I first met her, you know, she's actually the wife to my husband's uncle. So the first time I got into their house, I thought, oh my God, such peace. And when he told me I'm children, I said, how? How is that possible? Like there was no shouting, no, you know, and I was like, At the point, I asked them, I said, please cut soap for me. When I started having children, I started, you know, fretting all over the place. Like, please, whatever it is you are using, please give me. You know, it was amazing. They're telling you to, well done, ma. Everybody's like hailing you that. Oh my goodness, it's really amazing. And there's something, mommy, tell us something about raising 12 children. In you know, just something. What was your greatest secret? What was your greatest? Don't tell us prayer because we know that's prayer.
I know.
We know that prayer is, we know. Just something practical that was your greatest weapon in raising these 12 children.
Okay. Let me also say, I must admit, I did have a support system. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Because I met Opus Dei early. I was quite
Yes.
young when I met them. So there was a lot of training on how to raise the children with values, you know, putting, you know, and all that. And my mom too was a support system, you know, because she was alive then. So she used to help a lot, especially when I was in the bank, because I was in the bank till I had my ACE. So you can imagine what it was like. Yes. So, but I would say that, you know, so having structure now, having a timetable for everyone, you know, having a chores list, you know, and then also, I think I just trained them. I don't know. I think I used to tell them that, look, the younger ones should respect the elder ones, and the elder ones should take care of their younger ones. You understand? So and I think maybe we grew together. So we built a bond. We were like, you know, we grew together, we did things together. You know, we prayed together, we had meals together. So I think doing things together too is very important. You know, doing things, and also I try to understand each child. You know, so I think I try to have one-on-one with each child. Do you understand? So
Follow that with 12. Wow.
yeah, you know, so some of them go to school and people think they are only children. Do you understand? They don't even know. They don't know
Wow.
that, hey, so no. So it's like giving each one time, you know, and
Yeah.
understanding that you don't stampede anyone. If anyone needs to talk, you take out the time and listen and counsel. So that also built bonds. So that bond of love was very evident. I don't know how to even be shouting and, you know, I shout sometimes. So let me know. I'm not an angel.
I don't believe you, ma. You cannot shout.
But I can't really, now somebody who will talk, I will call you and really tell you what it is. And you are in. There was a story somebody said now. She said we were in the office. That was when I was in the end, So she said she noticed that because I took my son there and he was just jumping up and down and behaving. And they were just looking at me and saying, what will she do? I didn't say anything. So you know what I did? I just called him. I just said one or two things. She said immediately the boy just sat and arranged. So she doesn't even know what I told him. What happened?
I said, they shout. I'm going to the house now. I've never heard a voice.
I'll just call them and we'll talk. I'll just say one or two things and then they'll on their own, everybody knows what to do.
Themselves.
So I won't beat no. So no, but again, I thank God for the grace. So because I mean, because and I must say they are not timid though. They are the ones that have a strong mind head. So it's not as if
children can never be timid.
So don't think they are, but maybe it's just out of love, God's grace. I don't know.
Urobo children, and they are born with fire.
No, but there are one or two things you will talk to them, you say to them in their ear when you are in church and you want to misbehave. Hey, then I will just sit with you. If it is a baby, if I'm breastfeeding, I won't remove it from your mouth so that you will shut up. You're not going to shut it down. Those sort of things. Or little, we're just looking for, I think just anything, but somehow we thank God. We thank God. The Holy Spirit also for.
It's amazing. And God really, really does, like we say, He doesn't give you more than what you can carry. He knew that you had a lot of love and a lot of energy for this 12. And He said, oh yeah, take. Like me, now, I begged Him. I said, please, sir, I don't think I can do more than this. Please do not test me beyond my power. I beg, I'm not even proud. I'm begging.
But do you know the funny thing? When you come to the house, do you see anybody again?
You see.
So we're not looking at ourselves now. There's nobody again now. No, we're looking at each other's faces. So it's just just to encourage people coming. It's a phase. It's a phase in life. It will pass. So and that's why it's very important to also build your relationship with your spouse.
Your partner,
No matter what, just try forgive each other, understand each other, learn each other, and all that. Because when you become empty nesters, you are going to be looking at each other. And all that. So
if I get married to this guy, what happened?
I don't want no. And another thing, let me tell you something I also noticed. I found out that from the past generation, I don't know if it still happens now. Sometimes women give so much. You've worked, you've done this, you've done that, and all that. Okay. So you just be waiting. By the time they now settle and you are getting the goodies, this is now payback time. You are now everybody's. This one is sending, and you are just, and then at that stage, maybe the man is not, it's not that young again now. The one who will go to club.
So money is like before.
So now he's now looking at your face. You need to do
things. You need to
get. Please, ladies, forgive. I beg.
Don't be wicked. Don't pay back. Please.
Don't do the thing. Because as a priest who wants a man, he said, hey, don't let your wife get and don't do what you are knowing how, because later on
back
you
is
will
real.
So please, ladies, forgive and forget, because that can really be the payback time. And it's like following you everywhere, wanting to be gumming. And I say, no, forget it. That was your time. This is not my own. No, please forgive, grow together.
It's very pertinent that you said this. And just before I joined this life as well, I happened on a video and somebody was responding to a Mother's Day video that she saw about women who had complained about the toxic relationships that they had with their mom. Maybe not really toxic, more like, misunderstandings. Because you know how it is rumored that mothers and daughters always fight, So these ladies, established and, accomplished ladies, were now just lamenting about their mothers. And interestingly, all their mothers had passed. So the videos generated a lot of conversation about how, oh, mothers and daughters, all those dramas. So this lady was now responding to the video and said, you know what? If your mother is still alive, please, whatever it takes, mend that relationship.
And
A mother is important. You don't know until they are gone. Mend that relationship with everything that you got. You know, and I hear you talking about this again with a spouse. It is really important to mend those relationships. Do not
the
look on what
parents,
has been done to you in
everybody.
the past with your parents, with your husband, with whoever it is. Mend that relationship because you know life is just for a time. These people, while they're in your life, you cannot say, "Let me treat you back the way you've treated me." Do you know that God does not? The parable of the servant who was giving mercy was ringing in my ear. It's Lenten season for us Catholics, and all of these kind of passages are what they keep on reading every day. The parable of the man who was giving mercy was owing the master small money, maybe like half a day's wage. Sorry, was owing somebody was owing him half a day's wage, and he was owing the master like several years' wages. The master forgave him everything. He now went to go and grab the one that was owing him that half a day's wage and carried him and threw him into jail until he pays. And the other servants heard and told the master, because the person they just forgave him big, huge debt. He couldn't forgive somebody else the same thing. It's the same thing that you would be like if you don't forgive your spouse or your parents for something that they did when they didn't know better. Maybe they were ignorant, maybe they were just wicked, whatever it is, because God has forgiven us even greater things. And He will ask it of you. It's not as if He will say, well, it's true, they did you something, so you're supposed to do back. No, God doesn't work like that. He would ask that forgiveness of you. So if you don't forgive, it's the kind of thing you can go and answer for in heaven. Me, I don't know about you, but it's better, easier and better to forgive. It's hard, you know, a lot of healing has to be done, but work on yourself, take the time to heal. So when you get to that point in your life, you can just smooth over things. Do not count paper. It is too short to be counting and be preparing that I will do you back. When the children out of the house, I will do you back. Why?
You know who I
Don't be a
am.
witch. Don't be a witch, please. And I think we have come to the end of today's conversation. I've been having such a good time that we have even overshot our time. I didn't even realize. Well, like I'm still in the office. So I just really had a nice time. And thank you so much. Everyone has been, you know, there's been so many comments on the chat. Everybody has been excited and they've really, really enjoyed today's conversation. Thank you so much, Ma, for coming. And if you had to leave us with one thing you want us to remember from today's conversation, one last line. One thing I don't want us to forget, either from what you've said already or what you want us to go away with, just give us one line that you think that we should remember in thinking about this topic or in thinking about our lives as general. As someone that is older, has lived life longer, you've gone through about 43 years of marriage, you've, you know, gone through how many years on earth, raised 12 children, been there, done that. What would you give to us, we younger women? Because this is Give to Gain month now. What are you going to leave us with? Please.
Well, there's quite a bit, but I'll just say, see, first of all, trust God. I'm sorry. Just hold tight to your God.
Mm,
Have a deep personal relationship with God. Then try and have a good relationship with everybody as much as possible.
yeah.
You know, as much because there's something that a priest once said. He said, look, when your day is as the day is starting, just expect anything. Expect anything to happen. If it doesn't happen at the end of the day, thank God.
God, I
If
thank
it
you.
doesn't happen, you just take it in your stride. You know, so don't, you see, we're all human beings. We're all moving, we're all changing, we're all at different phases. Let's give each other grace.
Praise.
Give each other grace. Try to bear with each other. Do you
Mm,
understand? And
mm,
also try to train yourself all the time. Learn. Be open to learning. And anybody can teach you. A lot is now going on about, you know, training and all. Go and learn. Things you don't know about, find out. And then the Holy Spirit will do the rest. So that's have an open mind and a growth mindset.
yeah.
Have a growth, whatever situation you are in, there's nothing you can't come out of. You will come out of it. But just be determined and, you know, feel yourself, whatever things are true, whatever things are pure, whatever things are holy, keep them in your mind and be at peace with yourself and with your God. And I think with that, thank God for life.
Thank you so much. I mean, even our audience have said this has been so amazing, wonderful message. Thank you, Ma. You're a blessing to the generation. God bless you. And so, I mean, this is just some of the thoughts from the audience, and I just want to tell you, thank you so much. I know that this wasn't easy for you. I know that you had to do a lot of, you had to do a lot of sacrifice to make it here at this time. I really, really want to tell you that I appreciate you. Thank you for being in a service to this generation. Thank you for sharing of your wisdom. Thank you for giving to gain. And thank you for being an uncle for everything that you do to support me every time I do everything. I'm super grateful and I do not take it for granted. I want to tell you, thank you so much, Ma. I love you and God bless you. And if you enjoyed this live, this comes to you every Tuesday by the Women's Growth Academy. It's called Women's Matters. We're here live every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Nigerian time, by the grace of the Almighty God, having conversations like this about different things that affect the woman. And we hope to see you same time next week. Ma, good night.
Good
And
night.
thank
Thank you
God
for
bless.
having me.
You're
It was
welcome.
fun.
It was, right? I told you it would be. So thank you.